about we start with the latest on Jackson and what the test results showed you in the offense?
Yeah, CT scan, MRI showed negative results for any fractures or anything going on. He's just sore and bruised, and he's day to day on when he'll be back.
Available to you today off the bench? You try to avoid it?
We'll see. It'll, day to day. We got to see how he feels. Good getting treatment today. What he feels like swinging in the cage, and then we'll decide that later.
Craig Walker-Buehler, the last couple of outings have been really solid. Your thoughts on his progression as his season continues?
Yeah, he's doing great. He only keeps getting better every time out, feels like. Last game out with the Mariners, kind of grinded through 5 innings, 100 pitches, got his pitch count up, but he continues to make good pitches. We continue to see the velocity in that 94 to 96 range, which we like to see. And then his ability keeps perfecting how to use all of his pitches in different ways.
How important do you think holding that kind of velocity is to him in particular?
It's important to any pitcher, honestly. The harder you throw, the stats back it up. It's harder to hit. And especially with him being used to pitching with a higher velocity, it's important for him, I think, to see some of those numbers sometimes.
Rodolfo Durán catching again tonight. We've heard you talk about the ABS challenges and what he's done behind the plate, but as far as working with a pitching staff, what's he's shown you in that regard so far?
Yeah, he's shown that we don't really notice him back there unless he does an ABS challenge or throws a guy out at second, and that's a good thing for a catcher. Is we feel really comfortable with him back there. He's quiet back there. The pitchers trust him, and he does a great job with the game planning. He's come in prepared like he's been a seasoned vet for a long time. As
far as the game planning, how much does it help the fact that he's been around for a couple of spring trainings and has had extensive time with this staff?
Oh yeah, 100%. You said it. Having the last 2 spring trainings with the big league team and being around, for most of camp, both those years, and then being in our system in AAA last year, we try to mimic in AAA what we do in the big leagues. And, the pitching coach down there, Scott Mitchell, and Ruben talk regularly. So, that's what we hope is those transition from AAA to the big leagues is seamless, and that those guys can hit the ground running. And catching is probably the most difficult position for that to happen. And so far, credit to the AAA staff for getting him prepared and have him ready.
He's also got quite the story, 11 years in the minor leagues, to come up and have the kind of impact that he's having currently to you. I mean, what does that mean as a manager to watch a guy like that take an opportunity and sort of run with it?
Yeah, I think one is we can never put a timeline on a player. Everybody's on their own timeline of when they might figure it out or when they hit their peak. And he's showing us that right now, and it just makes us smile, when you see a kid come up, have that much, paid his dues for that long, and then come up and have do well with the opportunities we give him.
What are some of the challenges that a lineup like the East, we're saying a lot of young guys, a lot of power throughout the lineup?
Yeah, they have a great lineup. They've been off to a good start offensively this year. Nick Kurt, Shea Langoliers, those are their 2, big boppers right now. And then they've got other guys that can, kind of fill in and help out. Cortez had a great year so far this year. We know Rooker, Soderstrom, all those guys can do damage, and even at the bottom of the lineup. So, we got to be on top of our game just like we have been the last few series facing the Brewers, Mariners, and Dodgers. This is, not a letdown whatsoever. These guys are tough, and we got to play our A game.
Talk to Katse at all? With your old haunts?
I haven't talked to him yet. I've talked to him in the past. Awesome dude, and he's doing a great job in Oakland.
Baseball they've done more of giving you the days off at home the last couple of years. What do they do on those days? You try to forget about everything, get away. Can you do that as like a mental refresh?
Yeah, when I was a player, I could forget about it real easy. Not so much as in this new role as manager. We're talking about previous games and what we can do better to improve. And most of the day is off, but there's still a lot of baseball that gets involved in it. But yesterday was fun. I was able to get the kids from school, take them out to lunch, go get some ice cream, take my wife on a date. So it was a normal day in the Stammen household.
Is it specifically the back of Jackson, or is it ribs or anything else that you guys are worried about?
Yeah, back.
It is the back.
What have you made of his season so far?
Jackson? Oh, probably not up to his expectations, nor ours, especially at the plate. But defensively, he's been amazing, and he's been great on the base paths, too. Something that we talked about in the offseason is him being able to steal some more bases and use his speed to help our offense, and he's definitely done that.
Do you think, like with him, he's obviously a somewhat free swinger. Is it kind of maybe tough to find that rhythm when you're not feeling it, given that he's kind of in this run?
Yeah, that's a good call. I think, when you're a swinger, You know, the only way to get out of slump is to keep swinging. If you're a shooter, the only way to get out of slump is to keep shooting, and that's kind of Jackson's mentality. You know, is there something, you know, to his game that can improve? It's probably be a little bit of that, is, you know, trying to train, you know, swing decision, but you don't want to ever take that aggressiveness away from him. So it's a kind of a double-edged sword.